know.
So, yes.
Yes, exactly. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Your Manchester with me, Ms. Belinda Scandal.
And me, Mr. Mark Llewellyn.
How are you?
I'm very well, and you?
I'm very, very well. We're all festive and dressed
we were
up.
all lovely and cheery today.
Cheery, very cheery,
Yes.
in red.
Yes.
What is red for Christmas? Why is red Christmas?
It's the blood of Christ, so the traditional colour, I know, a bit of a downer there, are red, white and green, of course.
Red, white and green.
Green for evergreen,
Yes.
for ever life and
Yes.
everlasting, and white for purity.
Oh, I'm wearing red
Well, you
for
wouldn't be
blood.
white, would you?
Right, I couldn't wear white, no. No. How's your week been?
It's been very busy.
Yes.
I've done a lot of carol service attending.
Have you?
Yes, I
Have you been singing at them?
Yes.
Oh!
A bit of that, you know, yes. And quite a few Panto.
Really? Got to ask you, when you go to a carol concert, are you a singer or are you a kind of...
Well, the first thing is that I've discovered this year is because I can't read them because I haven't got my reading. So I end up like that.
Oh, right, okay.
See?
It's very Christmassy, though.
Isn't
You'd
it?
make a good Father Christmas.
I have.
Have you ever done that before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, really?
Many times.
And how's that gone
with
for you?
real reindeer as well.
Real reindeer?
Yes.
Ooh.
Shall I tell you a little story about that?
Yes, you're making me hungry.
Well, that's another story.
Oh,
I took
really?
the kids took my niece and nephew when they were young to Lapland to see the real Father Christmas and the reindeer. And
Right.
for lunch they give you reindeer burgers. But yes, I used to play Father Christmas in a town centre with real reindeer. And one year they got me a new beard,
Yes.
which was actually made of yak hair.
Oh, no.
But yak hair apparently sends reindeers very randy. And as I appeared to get into the sleigh,
Yes.
it sent them into quite a frenzy.
Right.
Can't tell you what happened, but we still write.
Oh,
Yes.
you made friends with Rudolph. And his red nose. Right, lovely. So listen, you mentioned Panto. There's so many good Pantos going on. I saw last night the one at the Palace, Opera House.
Opera House.
With Armira.
With Myra.
What an entrance she makes.
Yes,
Oh,
I believe so.
It's a lot more larger than what she did last year, where she just walks on.
It's nice that she's got a large entrance, isn't
Well,
it?
yes, it is. She works hard for that show, you know. She works very well.
Cinderella, how are you getting on in there? We can't wait to see you.
Coming!
Oh, I love the aura, darling. It's giving low-key greige.
Well, ain't that lovely? And if that's the one for you, I'm happy too.
Well, I guess so. But let me try just one more.
Can't you do some magic or something?
Fabulous, darling. Cinderella, my lady, you shall go to the ball.
Forgotten something? Book now at atgtickets.com/Manchester.
Where does Panto originate from?
Well, it's Italian, really.
Is it?
Yes. So, Commedia dell'arte, it was called.
Oh.
And yes, and we're talking about the sort of 15th century.
15th century, so that's...
Yes, before your act started. Even.
Only just. Only
Some
just.
of the gags and all. So, and in Italy, in each region, they had their own dialect.
Right.
So you couldn't tour a show as such.
Yeah.
It had to be a mime.
Right.
And so you had these groups that would go around performing classic stories that people knew.
Yeah.
They would be masked. They would play key characters. So things like Harlequin comes from there.
Right.
And he would tell the audience what he was feeling by pointing to the colour on the costume. So green for envy and so on.
Oh, that's why you had all the different colours on.
Yep.
Oh.
And they would turn up. They would find somewhere to stay. So that
Right.
would be like a ditch on the village green or whatever. That's why I had to stay in digs. Cause
Oh, no.
Yep. And also at the end of the performance, they would go around the villages and ask for donations with a box. And that's why you book at the box office still today.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
These things have lasted then.
Yeah, well, yeah. So this kind of travelled around and eventually came to Britain.
Yeah.
In the 18th century.
Right.
And was picked up because there used to be, theatres had to be licensed. If you did spoken word, you
Yeah.
had to have a royal licence.
Oh.
So you had legitimate and illegitimate theatres.
So would you have Panto just not at Christmas, then you'd have it all year round or something?
Yes, it was all year round.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. And you had these classic stories. So if you take, I think Mother Goose is probably the oldest. These were performed in the 18th century on stage. And if you look at some of the storylines, Aladdin,
Yes.
right, Widow Twankay,
Yes.
okay, so that was a piece of satire about people drinking tea. So Widow Twankay, well, Twankay was the brand name for one of the cheapest teas on the market, and then you have, even in my script for it, you have Princess Piku,
Yeah.
which was orange Piku tea.
Right.
So as I say, imitator of all these stories were adapted to imitate and take the mickey out of what was on trend at the time, like they do today.
And then, of course, they started getting the big celebrities of the day involved in them. I mean, how much has Panto kind of changed its originality since that?
Hugely. So you go to a man called Dan Leno.
Yes.
And he was from London. In fact, lived more or less where Euston Station is today.
Right.
Somers Town it was called. And he was a variety performer. Came to Manchester, married a young girl in Hume where they lived.
Yeah.
And he went to Oldham and he took part in the World Clog Dancing Championships in Oldham. I don't know who told Oldham they could do it, but they did. He won. Went back to London and he was signed up by a man called Sir Augustus Harris, who was the manager of the Drury Lane Theatre.
Right.
Who really is the father of modern pantomime.
Okay.
And he put on these things. Now, when Victoria came to the throne, you didn't need to be licensed anymore.
Oh.
So that was a big change. So you could now have proper dialogue.
Right.
Dan Leno was signed at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane. He became really what we think of as a pantomime dame today, the bun wig, the shawl, all that.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Victorians now could speak in panto. They added in what were topical references, bailiffs, the mum being drunk on gin.
Yeah.
Stepmothers,
Yes.
because a lot of people were dying. So that became the wicked stepmother came in as a topical reference.
Right.
We had, all kinds of things, like in my panto script for Cinderella, we still say when the ugly sister tries the slipper, she wouldn't get her foot in the Crystal Palace, which obviously is a Victorian reference, means nothing today.
No.
But it's still there. And so the music hall artists started to take over. So you had the great Imari Lloyd and people like that, Principal Boy. But you had a bit of an issue then, because we had these people playing mortal characters, right? Real people, Dick Whittington and all that shit. We also had references to immortal characters. So some of the characters like Harlequin from the old days, but fairy godmothers, King Rat are immortals. So how do you put the two in the pantomime? So they brought old and new, and they brought in rules, which you often still see applied today. So the goodie always appears on the right-hand side of the stage and the baddie on the left.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
That's actually written into like...
Yeah, that's kind
Wow.
They should not cross the centre of the stage, so they stay in their own bits.
Right.
Okay. Normally they would appear in their own section of the panto, front cloth or whatever, don't they? And then, say they've got to go into the storyline, they have to disguise themselves as a mortal. So you think of Cinderella, the fairy godmother is an old woman collecting wood in the forest, isn't she? When she first appears. So she's disguised so Cinderella can see her. Only when she does the magic does she reveal herself to be an immortal. And the other little thing is the magic, a fairy's magic is strongest in the star on the end of the wand. So she covers her heart when the baddie threatens her.
Wow.
And all these are kind of rules that are still obeyed today.
That's amazing. That is quite fantastic. We've gone up to modern day. These pantos are more like lavish musicals now, aren't they?
Yeah.
How has that kind of affected those that kind of want to stay? Is the traditionalist still in this world, the panto?
They're still tradition. The rules are still obeyed by and large, not always. But the biggest thing is, although we've got, I think last time I counted them up, there's something like 280 professional panto productions in the UK. And that money that it brings in keeps the theatre going for the rest of the year. We wouldn't have theatre even today without panto.
Is there anywhere we could kind of see a totally traditional, bang on the nail, traditional panto these days?
You can still see Victorian-style musical panto.
Yeah.
There used to be a chap called Berwick Kaler.
Yes.
Now he's retired.
Yeah.
But at York, they always did it in that style.
Right.
I'm going to go and see Brick Lane Music Hall in London do Pinocchio and his big chopper.
Okay.
So that will be very much in the Victorian tradition. But you still have, that Commedia dell'arte gave us lots of other things. So they used to have musicians with them.
Yeah.
Who wore often black and white pom-poms, became the Pierrots that appeared at seaside towns. But also there was a guy, a character who would have an inflated pig's bladder on a stick. Right. And he would come around and hit people.
Okay.
Now, that became a character in various different countries. In Germany, they have a character called Mr. Hanswurst, Mr. Sausage.
Yeah.
Which we have Punch and Judy, which is still there. And the other thing we have is Harlequin in the original had a wooden bat.
Yes.
And if he did anything funny, hit it.
Slapstick.
And that's where that comes from. So yes, it's still there, and it's in lots of entertainment. We just don't necessarily know that that's where it came from.
That's fantastic. Now, of course, music's very influential within pantomime and in theatre in general. And we've gone through this trend at the moment where we've kind of gone from, let's say, from vinyl to CD to whatever. And now what's coming back, it seems to be the importance of vinyl, as we find out by speaking to our first guest, Mr. Stephen Stockton. So joining us now is Steve Stockton, enjoying our lovely podcast, of course.
Yes,
it's been a successful year for you with that.
Yes, your Manchester Extra, every Sunday, 7 o'clock.
Lovely, jubbly. And you're one of these people that takes a profession, adapts with it, and finds out where you can get the nooks and crannies and the best money out of it.
That's very true.
Which is what you've done with Real Grooves Records.
That's really easy for you to say, isn't it?
Not last week, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't, no.
I missed out a word last week. I think it was the word.
Yes, that's right.
I think it was the word groove.
It was.
Because I don't like grooves.
So what's in your nooks and crannies?
Grooves.
In me nooks and me grooves. So Real Groove Records is an online record store. We specialise in musical theatre and pop music.
Right.
And it's just about making it a bit fun.
Yes.
Because you walk into all the traditional independent record stores.
Yes.
And they're just a bit dull.
No,
And they're all too cool for school.
Well, we should say, before we move on to it being cool for school and all that, the resurgence of vinyl now. I mean, I was looking at my record collection, and I have to say, because I'm of a certain era, mine's either on cassette or is on CD.
CD.
So when's this all started?
So the sales of vinyl have been growing every year for the last 15 years.
Right.
In the last year, it went up 17% in the UK. In the US, it was 68%. So people just really love holding on to a record.
Yes.
And we'll do that now. Holding on to a record.
Is this a record?
This is a record,
That's a
darling,
record.
Yes.
Yes.
Hold it for our special camera that we've got for you today.
Yes.
Look at this. Ta-da!
You've seen records before.
Well, we have.
This is Kylie's newest album, the 17th of her albums.
Sorry, I didn't quite hear that, Padam.
That's not on this one. That was the last one.
Oh, right. So we're not interested.
This has got lights, camera, action on it.
Lights, camera, action. Look at all these songs we've heard, never.
Yeah. You know Kylie, though.
I know Kylie.
This is Attention to, so...
Have any Mrs. Mills at the piano?
I think I left that one at home.
Oh.
So are these new records that you bring into the
Yes,
Real
so
Groove
they're all brand new.
Oh,
So
new.
we don't do second-hand or pre-loved or whatever you want to call them, or vintage. We just do new for the time being.
But then you say that, but what about if it's a certain original cast recording of a musical theatre show? Would that be a new version of an old version?
So it'll be it'd be a repressing of an original.
A repressing.
A repressing.
Repressing.
That's how I feel at the moment, I'll be honest with you.
When you play these new ones, do they still have the,
They do if you don't clean them, yes.
It's
like if you've got a mucky needle.
That it makes is the needle drops on it.
And then you find out you dropped it on the wrong one.
Oh, I know.
I don't like that one.
And if you don't get it in the right groove, you're halfway through the song.
Well, that's what
Please release
I
the
love
verse
about
3. It's not correct.
That's what I love about vinyl, because it almost sounds live.
Yes, it
There's
does.
something totally different. So, streaming is obviously as popular as ever.
Yeah.
But there's something about putting the needle on the vinyl and hearing
They say it's more high frequency with vinyl than you do get with digital, which has got more of a low frequency.
Well, you never find a dog listening to digital, do you?
No,
is that why you're attracted?
What else have you
What
got?
else have we got? Well,
What would we like?
I brought...
Sunset Boulevard.
I did bring Sunset Boulevard.
With one look. Now this is Gold Dust.
Yeah, these are
Gold
really hard
Dust.
to get hold of.
Who's on
actually.
that?
So this is Nicole Scherzinger.
Who?
Oh,
Shirtlifter.
yes, the new one.
The new one. So this is the Jamie Lloyd production
Oh,
from
very good,
London.
that.
This is
Yes.
the original cast recording from London.
Right.
And Tom.
And Tom, yes.
Music
what's his
by-
called?
Tom.
Tom
I'm pleased I knew that bit.
Tom Francis.
Tom
Francis.
That's right.
It's on the back.
Yes.
thank
I've still not
goodness.
seen the show, but I want to know why they all end up in underwear at the end of it.
Well, why not?
What?
Well, why not?
Because she's a 1930s film star.
Well, it's a whole new production, isn't it?
Well,
I don't-
yes,
It's
but it
not
is-
really set in the 30s. I
Oh, is
think.
it not set in the 30s?
No,
anymore?
because they do a bit outside, don't they? Like
Yeah,
live.
he sings Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, that was on an awards ceremony.
No,
that
it's in the show.
That actually happens in the
It
show.
cuts live to him singing outside the theatre.
That actually happens.
Yeah.
I thought it was just for the awards
No.
show.
No.
Oh, well, we know it's pre-recorded.
Yes.
So what we found is
West Side Story.
West Side Story. So this is the Steven Spielberg 2021 remake of West Side Story.
Oh, the film?
The film,
Oh,
yes.
no, we don't want that.
So it is very good.
It is good until you hear the later versions.
Yes.
They,
The original.
they made somewhere a bit too fiddly
Yeah,
in
they
that
did.
one.
Yes, they did.
So what we've actually found is I brought a nice coloured vinyl in for you. So this is a lovely
Oh,
bright
that
red.
one's
vinyl.
Matches
doesn't
us.
it?
I could wear
Yeah.
that as a hat tonight.
I
So-
thought you might have made the effort.
Well,
to
you
wear
didn't tell
red.
me I was meant to wear red, so...
We don't know.
we just turn up
Turn
like
up,
this.
well, we know.
It's not like
Yeah,
we plan
whatever.
anything, you know?
I've seen the planning sheets.
Yes, okay.
So coloured vinyl is really, really popular. So we tend to sell more coloured vinyls than...
That's us, really, isn't it?
Yes. We sell more coloured vinyl than anything else because it's about like a physical media. That's
And
what
what
people
is your
really
thoughts on sustainability using plastic?
want. There's lots of eco pressings
Arguments.
available.
Yes. Oh,
So
is there?
Is there?
Coldplay have just re-released all of their albums on
Right.
an eco vinyl, so
Yes.
it's all
So is it
sustainable.
made of wheat or something?
Buckwheat.
Children's tears.
You play it, and then you can eat it.
Well, what's
They
the
used
point?
to have them. They used to exist.
What?
You used to get them on the front of Rice Krispies boxes.
What?
It was made out of rice paper,
Shredded
but you could
wheat
actually,
records.
you could play it. Rice Krispies, you could play the record.
really?
That's where I got my black box.
So musical theatre is my specialism. It's my partner's specialism is the pop
good
music.
lord.
Oh,
So this
I
is.
tell you what,
Is that
she's
your
let
partner?
herself
This
go,
is-
hasn't she?
So Ben's looking really well.
Yes.
Yes.
So Ben loves his pop music. He
Yes.
says the reason he started the store was to turn his mental illness into a business.
maybe.
So he's got
There's hope for me yet then.
hundreds and hundreds of records. So he
Right.
loves pop. So this is Sabrina Carpenter's Short and Sweet. You probably
Oh,
know.
Sabrina, I was going to
Yeah.
say, it looks
Sabrina
nothing like Karen to me.
It's not
that.
the it's not, you know,
She's
it's not the
changed.
Carpenters.
Go on.
So you might know her song Espresso. That's off this one.
no, I don't
It's one of
even
the.
know. Yeah.
No.
It's one of the top
Have
selling.
you got anything from Charlie XCX?
I have your favourite.
Yes.
Didn't you go and see her, Mark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't
have
just
a
go
good
and see her. I actually was in the show.
I'll just do a quick little merch.
Because we are brats.
Oh, look at that Real Groove record.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
like good,
nice,
that,
isn't
isn't it?
Where did the name come from?
It's a Kylie. Real Groove is a Kylie song, isn't it?
Stole it.
Are you into Kylie though?
Yeah, we like Kylie.
wow,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Glad
I
somebody
have
does.
got Brat.
I
Here we
find it
go.
quite nasally.
She probably says the same about you.
She does.
I don't know who I am, that's the unfortunate
Here
thing.
we go. There's Brat just for you.
Lovely.
Right,
It's
it's a bit out of
blurred.
focus, isn't it? Did
you feel like-
I'm thinking I've got new glasses.
I nearly
but
took my
thought,
contacts out to put it in backwards then.
Oh, lordy.
So you haven't been living your Brat summer this summer
We
then?
do
Well, I
nothing
have.
else.
Ta-da!
Last posting date for Christmas is this Friday.
Lovely.
Marvellous.
So just 2 days' time.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well done. Is that going well though?
Yeah, really well. We're enjoying it.
You're
It's-
enjoying it?
Yeah.
Do you listen to the records sneakily before you give them to anybody?
No, because they're all sealed. So
Balderdash.
the ones that aren't sealed here are our copies.
Oh, are they?
Yes. So we get a copy ourselves as well.
Do you? Yeah.
We only sell new ones all sealed.
Well, thanks very much for that, Stephen. How fascinating is it?
Yes, who'd have thought it?
Who'd have thought so many old records are going to be so wonderful?
I mean, I'm pleased old things are coming back into fashion, aren't you?
we
Just,
we
you know,
might be
for a trend.
fashionable, yes.
Well,
Yes, well, next week, listen, because we're not having a break, are we? We're not having a break.
we certainly are.
What's on next week's show, please?
Well, next week we've got a very special show. It's just the two of us in the studio.
Yes.
And we're going to look back at some of the fantastic happenings here on Your Manchester during 2024.
And there has been a plenty.
Oh, there has. It's going to be a 9-hour special show, I rather imagine.
If 9 hours looks like 26 minutes, yes. Listen, thank you so much for watching us this year of all our live episodes. Make sure you stay in touch with Stephen, yes, your podcast. Make sure you stay in contact with that. It's going to be fantastic. Thanks for watching this year, because we'll say
Yes,
that now,
yes, we will.
this year's live episodes of Your Manchester.